For several weeks, positive signals had been going back and forth between Turkey and Armenia about repairing relations. The two neighbors have never had formal diplomatic ties, and their border has been closed since 1993. Their decades-long dispute centers largely around Armenia's continued occupation of territory belonging to Azerbaijan, and tensions flared last year after war broke out between Armenia and Azerbaijan over the occupied territory of Nagorno-Karabakh. Turkey sided with Baku in that conflict, which it decisively won. Armenia's defeat and its return of occupied land sparked an internal crisis against Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, but he eventually survived and won re-election earlier this year. After that victory, he has been sending signals of his desire to start a dialogue with Turkey. President Erdogan said he's ready for talks, but only after a series of conditions are met. So, are these latest overtures different than past attempts to finally normalize relations between Turkey and Armenia? Or will decades of mistrust and a series of unresolved issues get in the way? And to answer that, joining me now from Cancun, Mexico, is Mehmet Guler, who is a foreign policy analyst and researcher at SETA. And from Budva, Montenegro, Peter Zalmayev. He is the director of the Eurasia Democracy Initiative, a group that promotes public awareness in former communist states. Gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk. It's good to have you on the program. Peter, why has Armenia's prime minister expressed willingness to move towards restoring relations with Turkey? What do you make of the timing?
Well, first of all, let's say that this was part of his campaign promises for his re-election, which was actually much in doubt. Contrary to reports that Armenians have no appetite for restoring relations with Turkey, simply based on the fact that this was part of Pashinyan's platform, means that, in fact, Armenians are also tired of this impasse with Turkey, which is a major country, obviously, a major economy. And considering that Armenia is not going through its best economic and political times, it is in Armenia's interest, both politically and economically, to restore relations with a powerhouse, which is Turkey next door.
So do you believe that both countries are ready for restoring relations?
That's another question. But I think if we look back at 2009, which was the most recent such overture, and it was actually impeded at that time by Azerbaijan, which felt that Armenia was, it was not the right time. And so Azerbaijan went to Turkey and asked to scuttle the talks.
Yes.
This is different now. It seems like Azerbaijan is very much aware that, it is now Turkey's game, and it's up to Turkey to restore relations with Armenia.
So, Mehmet, what are the prospects of a significant shift in relations? Are you optimistic? And what are the shared interests of both countries in normalizing their relations?
To be honest, I'm not optimistic at all. I actually cannot see any prospects, shared prospects for both countries. So, before that, those countries have fundamental conflicting national interests. So, that actually prevents them to have a prospects, shared interest in the region. And there are some reasons on that. Because first of all, I kind of agree that it is on Pashinyan's promises of elections, but Pashinyan's foreign policy in general oriented to isolate Turkey and Turkic countries and Azerbaijan in the region, and also domestic opinion in the country. People in fact doesn't want to have a good relation with Turkey, and Pashinyan is actually still after the lost territories in the war, and I believe these attempts is to stall time, and even if it looks peaceful,
yes,
it is actually reason why actually Pashinyan took that step.
So, Peter, President Erdogan said he's ready for talks, but only after a series of conditions are met. What are those conditions? And, what are the main hurdles before a restored relationship?
Well, first of all, Armenia has to, according to the Turks, has to do some house cleaning when it comes to its constitution. It has to probably take off the Mount Ararat from its official emblem. There's also other things such as the title of Western Armenia, which this is what Armenians refer to in the Eastern Anatolian region of Turkey. There has to be some kind of a compromise when it comes to the exactly how that events of 1915 will be characterized by both countries. Unless the compromise is found, I agree with the other guest speaker, the prospects for a full reconciliation and a full-fledged economic relations are pretty dim.
Yes. So, Mehmet, how is Azerbaijan reacting to these developments? I mean, would it like to see Turkey and Armenia reconcile, and could a possible reconciliation without Azerbaijan, is it possible?
I believe it's possible. As the other guest said, our Azerbaijan right now is recognized that the reset between Turkey and Armenia is between those countries. And since the Azerbaijan took control most of the occupied territories, I mean, right now that actually left to be the issue between those countries. So I believe Azerbaijan wouldn't oppose and actually would like to see a reconciliation between Turkey and Armenia, because having Armenia not more isolated and more integrated in the region would actually mean that Armenia actually in fact can take some steps towards the peaceful reconciliation, towards the peaceful resettlement of the region. So I believe possible.
So, Peter, would Russia like to see Turkey and Armenia talk again?
Indeed, and Mr. Sergei Lavrov, Russian foreign minister, made that very same point that you just mentioned, that it is time for both countries to reconcile. We haven't mentioned during this whole discussion Moscow, but Moscow is the elephant in the room. Obviously, this is the one country that has gained probably the most geopolitically from the recent wars, because it is Russia's peacekeepers who are present on the ground, and it seems like there are indications from the Kremlin that Russia would not mind some burden sharing with Turkey. So Turkey would assume a larger role in the conflict, and it seems like Turkey would like to do that. We just forgot to mention, to add to your previous question, another sticking point is the land corridor that Azerbaijan wants to build to its enclave of Nakhichevan. This is a very important issue that's been a nagging point for the last several decades, and I think Turkey will press Armenia to make sure that there is a trade and there's a secure land corridor between the two parts of Azerbaijan.
Yes, President Erdogan, without giving a specific name, has said the opening of corridors will help end disputes between Azerbaijan and Armenia. So how would MeghmandZanziger corridors opening help restore relations and revive regional economy? What kind of benefits it would bring along?
In fact, it's the most important, most significant corridor in the region. Zangezur is the most significant part of that territory, because it connects through the land the Turkic world, the Turkic countries. So in that case, Turkey will be able to have a direct connection with Azerbaijan, and even through Caspian Sea, through Turkmenistan. So it will be, in that case, Turkic world will be able to have a more deeper and a more integrated economies, and the energy corridors can pass through this way without passing through Armenia or Iran or other countries.
Yes, so it'll be significantly shorter, and Turkey will reach Azerbaijan without using the land routes of Iran and Georgia. So, Peter, could you give us some Iranian and Georgian perspectives on this?
Well, the Georgian perspective has always been, Georgia has played a very constructive role of trying to maintain constructive relations both with Azerbaijan and Armenia. It's been as close as we have had to a peacemaker. Iran is a different story. There's much less of a I think, direct connection to the situation there, simply because it was never part of the Soviet Union. And
Yes.
as you know, Armenia, Georgia, and Azerbaijan were all the Caucasian republics of the USSR. There's much that links them, and I think Georgia has been a very constructive and important platform, and I think it will continue to play an important role in normalizing the security, political, and economic situation in the region.
So, Mehmet, what will be the next move? Who will take the first step moving forward?
I believe it will be Armenia, because in that case it will be it will be of interest of Armenia, because right now Armenia is isolated in the region and it has no direct economical ties or relations or corridor or borders with other countries. So it has to have a good relations. It has to open the borders through Turkey to have a more economical prospects and interest in the region. And it
Yes.
is that if those borders open, Armenian GDP will be tripled or doubled in
Yes.
like 2 to 3 years. So it's very important for Armenia to take that step.
All right, gentlemen, unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining us on Straight Talk.